This video is all about Scabiosa Butterfly Blue and why it's one of my favorite all-time perennials. Now, just for starters, it's deer and rabbit resistant, it's very drought tolerant, and it's extremely long blooming from late spring into your first autumn frost. And of course, it's got a gorgeous periwinkle blue color. Welcome to Garden Sanity. I'm Laura, and I garden here in Zone 7, Southern New Jersey. And today, I want to share one of my absolute favorite additions to the garden beds. And more specifically, I want to share why I think this low-maintenance beauty just might be the solution to solving any midsummer garden fatigue. Now, not your fatigue, not my fatigue from these heat waves and humidity. No, it's not going to help with that, but I do think that this perennial will keep your garden looking fresh throughout the summer. So why do we plant annuals? It's because we love the nonstop flower show in our gardens, right? From the time we plant a marigold, for example, it's just going to keep blooming and getting fuller as the long summer season goes into the fall. Well, Scabiosa Butterfly Blue, also known as the pincushion flower, is a nonstop bloomer that gives me the exact same feeling, for lack of a better word, as annual flowers like marigolds do. Because butterfly blue begins blooming in late spring, for me in early May, all the way through to a hard frost in the fall. But butterfly blue is a perennial, so it's going to return year after year. And it looks great whether you create a mass of them together or you plant them among other perennials and flowers in your garden. And while Scabiosa has been around for centuries, butterfly blue was developed only about 40 years ago by a British plant breeder who found it growing in Ireland. Now, he also bred its sister variety, Pink Mist, which has very, very pretty soft pink flowers. And yes, I do have Pink Mist on my long wish list of plants to add someday. Now let's take a closer look at the plant itself. Scabiosa Butterfly Blue has a mounding, sort of a bushy, shorter habit, and it reaches a mature size of about 18 inches tall and wide. Now, the foliage is considered basal, which means it's mainly found at the base of the plant near the ground. Basal base. Now, the leaves are blue-green to blue-gray in color, and they're sometimes described as ferny looking, though I'm not completely sure I see the fern comparison. Now, the thin stems are wiry in appearance, and they hold the lovely periwinkle lavender blue flowers. And I swear this color always reminds me of my favorite Crayola periwinkle crayon from childhood. And maybe, just maybe, that's an extra reason I'm so in love with this perennial. Now I want to look at the flowers, specifically what these are going to look like in your garden by showing you what they look like in mine. With many flowering perennials, they don't always provide instant gratification the way annuals do, because they can take a few years to reach their full potential. So you might not see as many flowers in their first year as you will once they mature over a few seasons. But Scabiosa Butterfly Blue is a wonderful exception. It's going to bloom for you non-stop in its first season, newly planted in your garden. Now here's what my plants look like, newly planted in the pollinator garden I created a few years ago. I planted 3 of these, and they filled out nicely during their first season in the ground, blooming well into the fall and blending so nicely with the warm colors of autumn. And if you think you hit the jackpot in year 1, wait until the second year, because this is what you get to enjoy. Look at how much more they filled out in only their second year. They're nice and bushy, and look at these flowers. And this year, oh my, the 3 plants have all blended together. I'll definitely be digging and dividing these plants next spring. Now, I mentioned this is long blooming, and the reason is that butterfly blue is a sterile cultivar of Scabiosa columbaria, which is fantastic news for gardeners because being a sterile flower means it puts all its energy into making flowers rather than setting seed. And the result is a non-stop carpet of delicate pincushion-like blooms in a gorgeous periwinkle shade. Now, sterile does not mean it won't provide food for pollinators. It just means it won't set viable seed. That's the only thing it means. Now, here is everything else you need to know about growing Scabiosa Butterfly Blue. It's hardy in zones 3 through 9. Now, unlike some perennial Scabiosa varieties that only go down to zone 7 as the coldest zone, Butterfly Blue handles cold all the way down to zone 3, so you can be confident in the colder zones that it's going to come back every spring. And at the same time, it handles high heat and humidity wonderfully. Now in zones 8 and 9, where winters can be more mild, butterfly blue may bloom sometimes nearly year-round. Now give them full sun, which means at least 6 hours a day. That would be ideal. In warmer zones, however, afternoon shade is fine to protect them a bit. Now in my backyard garden, I have them in full sun, but I just planted several in my front yard, and those do get shaded a bit. So over time, it's going to be interesting to see if there's much of a blooming difference with having a bit of shade. And of course, I'll keep you posted. Now water them regularly during their first season, and that's really, really important. They got to get their roots established, and giving them regular water without waterlogging them is really important. Now once established, butterfly blue is very drought tolerant. Now the soil, this is the most crucial part. Scabiosa hates wet feet, especially in the wintertime. They need well-draining soil. When I plant perennials that need to be on the drier side, like agastache for example, I add some chicken grit into the bottom of the holes to help with drainage. Now, chicken grit, or you could also get something called horticultural grit, it's like little tiny stones. And I'll put a link in the description below so you can see exactly what it is I use. And just a tip, if you have heavy clay soil like I do, the best thing you can do for your soil is to regularly add compost to your beds each year, because that's not only going to improve the soil, it's also going to help to improve the drainage over time. As for fertilizer, nope. They don't need any fertilizer. Talk about an easy perennial, right? Fertilizer can actually lead to lanky growth and more leaves instead of flowers for Scabiosa, so please skip the fertilizer. And that can actually be true for many perennials, so you really want to learn about each perennial you're planting in your garden, because what works for annuals, a lot of people like to just flood their annuals with fertilizer to just get them as lush and blooming as crazy. That actually can be a detriment to many perennials, so you want to try to learn that about each different perennial that you grow. The blooming season is exceptionally long, starting in late spring or early summer. Again, for me here in Zone 7, southern New Jersey, it's around early May it starts blooming. And it'll continue to bloom into late October or even early November, straight through to the first fall frost. And in milder zones like 8 and 9, they can bloom even longer and, like I mentioned, sometimes nearly year-round. And not only is the blooming season long, but while they're blooming profusely, so you get a long season of a lot of flowers all at once. As for pollinators, bees and butterflies absolutely adore these flowers. And in terms of being deer and rabbit resistant, these are deer resistant, and they're most likely rabbit resistant, though you have to always remember that hungry rabbits are going to try anything if they're desperate. While butterfly blue and pink mist are considered low-maintenance perennials, removing spent blooms every now and then with a pair of snips are going to keep them looking tidy and encourage more flowers to pop, though the plant is really forgiving, so you don't strictly have to deadhead. Now you could just snip off the flowers, but just know that the remaining wiry stem of that flower is going to turn brown over time. And yes, you can eventually break it off, but it is easier if you just cut each spent flower at the stem near the base of the plant instead for a nicer appearance. Now the plant is forgiving, so you can grab each flower or a few flowers at once if you have a lot and follow their stems down to the base and snip. You can gently move the stems around to find the base. No worries that this plant is too fragile to handle some manhandling. Or woman handling, right? Now I actually do a combination of both ways. Usually I start out with the best of intentions to snip off every single flower I'm deadheading at the base. And then once the heat starts getting to me, I find myself snipping up higher and higher until maybe I'm just removing those flowers. I'm just being honest here. Now, when it comes to end of season care, these will bloom right into the fall. I like to leave the stems standing through the winter. They will collapse on their own, though some might stay upright depending on your snowfall, so I leave them for a little bit of winter interest. Now, you can remove the stems if you don't like how they look, but at the very least, please, in the fall, leave all of the foliage to protect the crown of the plant through the winter. Now, a little mulch or fallen leaves around the base is not going to hurt the plants either. In fact, that's what I do. As the leaves fall, I leave them around the base of the plant, sometimes on the plant, just as a little bit of insulation. Now in spring, all you have to do is simply cut back any remaining old stems, any foliage if you see any browning, and then you sit back and you watch the new foliage grow right back. It's amazing. It's just such a good, hardy perennial. And keep in mind that these plants are evergreen in milder zones, so it is possible you're going to have some nice green color throughout the winter season. Now for me here in Zone 7, southern New Jersey, they did remain evergreen this past year, but once the freezing temperatures hit, they browned up a bit, but they still came back like nothing ever happened this spring, so no worries. Now, 2 fun facts about its name. The Latin name Scabiosa comes from the belief at the time, way back when, that the rough leaves of this plant could actually cure the disease scabies. And its common name, pincushion flower, references those little sewing pincushions that were once found in every household in Europe. And speaking of Europe, Scabiosa is native to Africa, Europe, and Asia, but not North America. And there are many, many, many annual and perennial varieties of Scabiosa, many that can be easily started from seed, too. So I hope you're able to add Butterfly Blue or Pink Mist to your garden. You will love the nonstop flowers, and so will the pollinators. Now, if you already have Scabiosa in your garden, whether Butterfly Blue or another variety, let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear your experience with them. And until next time, happy gardening.